I admit I'm a sucker for romance, and the most beautiful and poignant aspect of a frum wedding for me is always the badekin, when the chassan approaches the kala to cover her face. And we're always taught that this is because Yaakov Avinu was bamboozled in marrying the wrong sister first. And so the chassan approaches the kala to make sure that this is the right woman, and the same thing doesn't happen to him. But if you think about it, something's wrong with that story, because if we're concerned about a switcheroo, then we would think it would be safer if her face would not be covered, especially like in our minhag where the tichel, where the veil is opaque. That just creates a perfect situation for her to be switched, if that's what we're concerned with. But perhaps the real lesson here is that the chassan takes the dek tichel, takes the veil, and covers her face. And with this, he tells himself, and with this, she tells herself the truth about a marriage. And that is that whenever you marry Rachel, there's a Leah there. When you marry Leah, there's a Rachel lurking there. When you marry Yaakov, there's another aspect there. Because that's what happens. Not because anybody is trying to deceive anybody consciously, but there are aspects of ourselves that we're not even cognizant of, that we may not be aware of, that will come out after we get married. And then there are going to be all circumstances. All kinds of things will happen after we get married. And so perhaps the most profound lesson of the Badeket is that when we enter a marriage, we enter in with the knowledge that we have, and with devotion and dedication and a prophylactic loyalty to anything that will ensue, that will be behind that veil, that will unfurl in the future. And I think that it's that same lesson that's inherent in the circular motif of wedding. For instance, the ring that the chassan gives the kala. The truth is, you could be mekadosh isha with anything of value. It could be an apple, it could be a turnip, but it's been a ring for thousands of years, and there are many, many deep reasons for this. But one of them, Chassidus explains, is that in a ring, you have the inside of the ring, you have the circumference of the ring, which is quantifiable, which is measurable. But then outside of the ring, you have really infinity. You have the rest of the world that's outside of the ring. And in giving her the ring, the chassan is saying, I'm entering into our relationship with everything I know. And I am also dedicating myself to everything I cannot know. And the kala does the same thing when she encircles the chassan under the chuppah. I am yours with everything. Everything that is within the circle and everything that is yet outside their circle. And these are interesting times. And we're going through a time where things are not the norm. And people have to kind of rise to the occasion. And some aspects of this are difficult. Some aspects of this, for some people, have been extremely harrowing and painful. And especially for young couples, getting thrown into a situation that's not what they thought it was going to be. So this is really one of the big lessons. There's always something we can't see behind the veil. There's always going to be more beyond the circumference of the ring that is measurable. And when we come under the chuppah together, and that our Ein Sof solders the two halves of our neshamas together, there's a transcendent aspect. And if we can continue to kind of focus on that and understand that aspect that goes beyond the two of us, that goes into infinity, that's makif, that's transcendent, if we keep our eye on that, that will help us through kind of all what's unexpected or tumultuous or different or surprising, because that too is part of what's supposed to happen. That too, all behind the veil. and we've said yes. So Hatzlacha Rabbah to all of us in climbing in love higher and higher, successively, always. Kol Tov.